chemtrails, now getting widespread attention. Well, tonight, KSLA News 12 investigation reporter Jeff Farrell shows us the results of testing we had done about what's in our skies.
It seemed like some mornings it was just crisscrossing the whole sky. It was just like a giant checkerboard.
Bill Nichols snapped several photos of the strange clouds from his home in Stamps, Arkansas. They begin as normal contrails from a jet engine, but do not fade away like a normal contrail. Soon after, he saw particles in the air.
Because we'd see it drop to the ground in a haze.
Nichols then noticed the material collecting on the ground.
This is water and stuff that I collected in bowls. I had it set out in my backyard on my dad's pickup truck.
KSLA News 12 had the sample tested at a lab. The results? A high level of barium, 6.8 parts per million, more than 3 times the toxic level set by the EPA.
I'd like to know what it is.
KSLA News 12 discovered chemtrails are even mentioned by name in the initial draft of House Bill 2977 back in 2001 under the Space Preservation Act.
Now, Jeff's report mentioned high levels of barium linked to those alleged chemtrails. We wanted to find out exactly what effects barium has on the body. We spoke with Mark Ryan, the director of the Poison Control Center. Ryan tells KSLA News 12 that short-term exposure can lead to anything from stomach to chest pains. Long-term exposure causes blood pressure problems. Ryan addressed concerns by chemtrail researchers that barium could be meant to wear down a person's immune system.
Armed with these lab results about the high levels of barium found in our sample, we decided to contact the Louisiana Department of Environmental Quality. They told us that yes, these levels are very unusual, but at the same time they added the caveat that proving the source is a whole nother matter.
The white lines you see trailing behind airplanes, you probably know them as contrails, but a growing number of people claim we are secretly getting sprayed with chemicals. Is there any proof? CBS 5's Pat McReynolds takes a look.
Early in the morning, you'll see several jets flying this direction, back and forth, up and back.
Roxy Lopez looks to the skies of Casa Grande with skepticism and fear.
It was just plane after plane after plane. It was crazy. Right over here in this direction.
She's referring to air traffic overhead that leaves familiar white lines in the sky that most consider are condensed and frozen airplane exhaust, or contrails. But all of those white lines are chemicals being sprayed either by the government or private industry. Those chemicals are making us sick. Former Arizona Senator Karen Johnson even joined them in an online documentary entitled, "What Are They Spraying?"
Why is this happening? Why is this being allowed to be sprayed continually all over the United States?
Chief Transportation Correspondent and pilot Maykay Beeler explains what's in the anti-chemtrails bill and what this could mean.
Tennessee lawmakers passed SB 2691 earlier this week. If passed, the legislation would ban chemtrails. The white lines you may see coming from planes in the sky are not vapor clouds known as condensation or contrails, but instead chemicals being sprayed from jets for a variety of reasons. The Tennessee bill claims the government may conduct geoengineering experiments by intentionally releasing chemicals in the atmosphere. If the legislation ends up becoming law, it would prohibit the release of the chemicals, which lawmakers claim affect the temperature, weather, and the intensity of the sunlight. If Tennessee's governor signs the bill, it would go into effect July 1st. Back to you.
Welcome back. Polling shows most Granite Staters are concerned about issues like housing and the high cost of living. But the New Hampshire House took a bit of a detour last week as state reps debated legislation to ban what they call chemtrails in House Bill 1700, but lawmakers brought it up on their own on the House floor. This is the conspiracy theory that condensation trails left by aircraft in the sky are not frozen water vapor, but actually attempts to control the weather or somehow poison populations on the ground.
I'm not going to speak on what's currently going on in our atmosphere. Oh, he's talking about chemtrails. Oh, that's a complete conspiracy. That's not going on. That's never happened. Fine. Let's say it hasn't. I have here in my hands federal guidelines, a federal framework plan to implement such measures.
These trails in the sky that last for the entire day and dissipate to become blanket cloud coverage of our sky are not condensation trails.
And one of the more interesting aspects of this bill is that it would require county sheriffs to participate in the investigation of any public complaints brought forward regarding chemtrails. No word on how deputies would patrol or surveil the open skies over the Granite State.
Spokane City Council member Mike Fagan is raising some eyebrows after suggesting that airplanes, even those above our city, could be spraying chemicals on a regular basis to control our climate. His comments have many reacting, and tonight KXLY4's Kyle Simchuk is live on the Sky Deck. Kyle, you spoke to people in Spokane today. What do they think about all this?
We don't normally report on topics like this, but it's hard not to when they're brought up in city council meetings. Tonight, reaction around the city about comments made by Spokane City Council member Mike Fagan on Monday while discussing climate change.
Could it be that the U.S. government, as well as multinational corporations, engage in SRM or solar radiation management? We already heard a little bit about, what are we spraying in the skies?
Fagan suggesting that the white lines we see in the sky could be a secret attempt by our government and other corporations to control the Earth's climate. In an interview with the Spokesman Review, Fagan said, quote, "What I would like to do is issue a challenge to the citizens out there. If they see an airplane in high atmosphere, watch the airplane's activities for a while. You're going to see a trail come down out of that airplane that dissipates and enlarges itself, floating back down to the ground. Then what happens?" And we reached out to Councilman Fagan for an interview this afternoon, but he was unavailable to provide any comments. Reporting live on the Sky Deck, Kyle Simchuk, KXLY4 News.